are here to celebrate you, our students. I welcome to the stage the President Emeritus of the Student Government Association, Marisa Whelan. Marisa Whelan is an English major with a criminal justice minor, who was a campus ambassador for 2 years, an RA for 3 years, and spent 2 years on the SGA Executive Board as Chief Justice of Administration, and most recently as its Student Government President. In the community, she has served as a peer minister at St. Andrew's Parish. I am pleased to introduce our Student Government Association President Emerita, Marisa Whelan.
Hey everybody! Good afternoon. Welcome to everybody, their families, and friends. If we could all take a second to thank the graduation gods for the weather today. We got some beautiful weather today, guys. Today, I'm addressing you today as not only the Student Government Association President, but as a fellow student, a daughter, a friend, a sister, as somebody who is ready to take this leap into a brand new chapter with you. As human beings, I feel as if there is a widespread fear that seems to consume our futures before we even get a chance to create them. As this chapter begins to open for each and every one of us, it is important we remember the courage and perseverance we've displayed in order to get where we are today. It is also important to keep in mind the souls we've been surrounded with who have helped us not only get through this experience, but contributed to our happiness and growth as well. I did not know what to expect when I set foot on this campus 4 years ago, but I certainly did not expect to gain what I did gain, and that was a family. On this exact day 4 years ago, my high school guidance counselor sat me down in her office and said the following: "Marisa, I don't think you should apply to college. I don't see you as a college person, nor do I think you'd make it in a four-year college if you even got accepted." As these foolish words left her mouth, I let them sit on my mind for a little while. Maybe she was right. Maybe I didn't belong in college because I wasn't very strong in subjects I didn't truly understand. My mother was with me during that meeting, and if I remember correctly, there may or may not have been fire coming out of her ears. When my mother did walk me back to class, she pulled me aside. She said, "Stop crying, Marisa. You're foolish if you let anyone decide your future for you. Winners never quit, Marisa, and quitters never win." Thanks, Mom. I kept this in mind as I applied to college. When I was accepted to STAC, I was somewhere between thrilled and terrified. That summer, I showed up to orientation, 2 hours early, mind you, and I knew that this was my new home. It was on this day that I began the greatest 4 years of my life, and I wasn't even aware. My first semester on campus, I wanted to do something where I could be around people and become a Spartan at the same time. Though I was only a freshman, I decided to apply to be a resident assistant. Though I was significantly younger than the rest of the staff, I figured there wasn't much to lose if I didn't get hired. When the time came to interview with the man in charge of residence life, I was terrified. As I waited outside of his office, his secretary, Kathy Zimmerman, spent the entire time I was sitting there, making sure I was comfortable and trying to get my mind off of anything other than this interview. I remember thinking, wow, this woman doesn't even know me, yet here she is going out of her way to make me comfortable. When the time for my interview did come, I sat down in this man's office and we just stared at each other. I could have passed out right then and there. He started laughing at me because I guess I was visibly terrified. It was on that day that I had one of many conversations with Mr. Norman Whelan. He hired me and was my boss from there on. I was expecting normal boss type things, being yelled at, being told what to do, etc. But what I got instead was a friend, and a man whose door was always open to not only me, but every student. I remember being surprised when he invited the Residence Life team, as well as the orientation team, into his own home to cook us dinner. Normal bosses don't do that, yet here was this man with his family cooking us dinner in his own kitchen. It was during this time I realized he was not normal, nor was this entire campus. Normal colleges do not have faculty that is constantly available to help, nor do normal colleges have the type of family essence that STAC has. For example, normal colleges don't have a campus safety staff that is willing to have girl talk with you in between classes, yet I was in their office every day. Through getting involved with residence life, I gained not only valuable lessons, but a close-knit team of family. As the year went on, I gained the confidence to try and be a part of the Student Government Association. I was appointed as Chief Justice of the Executive Board and unknowingly made the best decision of my college career. It was through SGA where I truly felt at home. During my time on the board that year, I made some of my closest friends to date. Jimmy Emsworth, Alexandra Mangus, and Leslie Melendez. Thank you for accepting me into your family, and thank you for always being a friend. You guys made that year so special to me. Later on during this year, as I was juggling both residence life and SGA, I was hit with devastating news that almost ended my college career before it even truly began. I was diagnosed with a genetic condition that could end my life at any moment without much warning. My doctors advised me to take a few semesters off to lower my stress levels so that my body could relax, but I refused. I chose to continue my treatments while still remaining a student. There were times where I thought I wasn't ever going to get through college, and that maybe my high school guidance counselor was right. In between classes, meetings, and fulfilling my duties and my responsibilities, I was in and out of hospitals being told to take off time from school. I declined every time. I was raised by two extremely hardworking people, my mother and father. I may be a little biased here, but to this day I have never met more caring people in my entire life. Naturally, as parents, they were concerned about my health, but they didn't force me to stay here in college. I wanted to be here. It is such a blessing to be able to get an education, and I wasn't going to give that up for anything. My parents told me every day how proud they were of me and that I could quit and come back home at any time. But each time I wanted to quit, I thought of my mom raising 3 babies while working at the same time. I thought of my dad waking up at 4 a.m. every morning to make sure that his children have infinite opportunities. They have both taught me to work for what I have, but to remain appreciative along the way. They taught me to always forgive, to understand, and to never give up on anybody, especially yourself. A year after my diagnosis, I was sworn in as president of the Student Government Association. To Alexandra Mangus, Akil Andrew, and Christina Matheson, I am so lucky to have had the chance to work together with you guys to make our campus a better place, and I'm so thankful to have gained you as friends as well. Thank you to Dave Eng for advising us and letting us cry on your shoulder and the couch in your office when we needed a friend. To Dr. Fitzpatrick, Dr. Manning, and Mr. Danini, thank you for meeting with us and showing us how much you truly cared about your students. We appreciated it. To my dad, thank you for waking up every morning at 4 a.m. to make sure I have an education. Thank you for always being a friend and an even greater father. To my mom, you are my other half, and I can only hope to be as great as parents as you and Dad one day. To everybody in this audience that has put their dreams on hold to give ours a chance, thank you. You've given us the world and more, and we are so excited to start our new chapter. Fellow Spartans, we did it!